You speak too early. You speak too often. You speak to be heard instead of to be effective. And that's the first crack in your discipline. That's the moment the world starts shaping your path instead of you shaping your own. You announce your goals to people who've never built anything. You share your plans with people who don't even understand themselves. You talk about the mountain instead of climbing it. You feel the need to be understood. But understand this: the world doesn't owe you recognition. It doesn't care about your potential. It only reacts to power. And power is never loud. The ones who rise don't chase applause. They don't beg for support. They go silent. They go inward. They go dark. Not because they're hiding, but because they're building. That's the truth. That's the real battlefield. Silence and self-focus. Not tweets, not posts, not public affirmations. Quiet action, ruthless intention, relentless execution. You've been conditioned to believe that being open makes you powerful, that sharing everything makes you authentic, that explaining your every move earns respect. It doesn't. It earns opinions. It earns noise. It earns doubt from people who don't even know what it takes. Every time you speak without execution, you devalue your own word. Every time you post without action, you feed the illusion, not the outcome. You want results? Withdraw. You want progress? Disengage. You want to dominate? Get quiet. Silence isn't retreat. It's recalibration. It's the withdrawal before the strike. It's the space where vision sharpens and energy returns. Because when you speak too much, you disperse focus. When you engage too much, you lose alignment. When you share too much, you open yourself to energies that don't serve you. There's a reason elite operators don't talk. There's a reason the most dangerous ones are the quietest in the room. Because they know. They know their power multiplies when it's contained. You have to protect your fire. Stop throwing sparks into the wind. Stop wasting your momentum explaining your grind to people who will never understand it. This path requires you to disappear from the wrong conversations, to stop proving, to stop persuading, to stop broadcasting. You're not here to be accepted. You're here to become extraordinary. And that requires restraint. That requires self-command. The ones who finish the race aren't the loudest. They're the most locked in. They conserve energy. They shut out distractions. They say nothing until the results speak for them. Let that be you. You can't afford scattered energy. Not now. Not ever. Your attention is your most valuable resource, and you're giving it away like candy. To gossip, to headlines, to strangers online, to people who do not matter. You say you want growth, but your focus is fractured. You say you want clarity, but you're drowning in noise. You say you want to rise, but your mind is owned by everything except the mission. That's why you feel overwhelmed. That's why you're stuck in cycles. That's why your identity never fully locks in. Focus isn't passive. It's violent. It's aggressive. It's the discipline to ignore everything that isn't aligned. It's the willingness to disappoint everyone so you don't disappoint yourself. You must treat focus like a fortress. Guard it. Fortify it. Burn anything that threatens it. This means fewer conversations. This means fewer distractions. This means disappearing when everyone else is performing. Let them be visible. Let them trend. Let them talk. You build. You execute. You go deep. Depth over attention. Mastery over popularity. Work over words. Every time you eliminate a distraction, you regain power. Every time you choose solitude over social, you deepen your identity. Every time you focus on what's in front of you instead of what's outside of you, you advance. This is war, not against the world, but against the old version of you, the undisciplined you, the reactive you, the you that needed validation. That part of you dies when focus becomes sacred, when silence becomes normal, when attention is no longer given, only invested. You don't rise by being everywhere. You rise by being fully here, locked in, eyes forward, unshakable. There's a hidden price you've been paying every time you seek attention. It feels good in the moment, but it costs you presence. It costs you purity. It costs you control. Being seen before you're ready breeds ego. Being praised too early creates comfort. Being known too soon builds a version of you that isn't even real yet. You've mistaken attention for affirmation. You've confused visibility with power. You've made the mistake of thinking that external recognition validates internal growth. It doesn't. True growth is invisible. True mastery happens when no one's watching. True transformation begins the moment you stop performing. The grind doesn't care who sees it. The work doesn't need witnesses. The real ones are too busy building to post about it. You say you're working, but you're watching. You say you're focused, but you're proving. You say you're different, but you're still explaining yourself to people who don't even matter. Let it go. Let go of the audience. Let go of the applause. Let go of the identity you've built around being seen. Because the version of you that's addicted to attention will never become the version of you that's obsessed with impact. This is where it happens. Not in the spotlight, not in the conversations, not in the content, in the dark, in the quiet, in the long, unsexy hours no one ever sees. That's where separation is built. That's where your next level is created. You don't rise through noise. You rise through decisions, repeated, daily, without audience or reward. The hard part isn't grinding. It's grinding without recognition. Grinding when no one texts you, keep going. Grinding when your wins go unnoticed. But that's the test. Can you build without applause? Can you execute without feedback? Can you evolve without anyone watching? Because when you train in the dark, you build something unshakable. A foundation no one can take. A mindset no one can break. A mission no one can interrupt. People will forget you. Let them. People will doubt you. Let them. People will question you. Let them. You're not here for their timeline. You're not here to impress them. You're here to outlast them. The loud burn out. The proud fade out. The real stay consistent, focused, silent, until the work becomes impossible to ignore. Let your future be your proof. Let your execution be your statement. Let your silence be your storm. You were taught that focusing on yourself is selfish. That isolation means arrogance. That staying silent means weakness. That's a lie. That's what keeps people average. That's what keeps them stuck in small circles with small results. Because the truth is this: focusing on yourself is the most disciplined act of love there is. Love for your potential. Love for your future. Love for the legacy you're about to build. And silence isn't weakness. It's power under control. It's precision. It's clarity. It's leadership from within. You don't owe the world your updates. You owe the world your impact. You don't need to keep people in the loop. You need to stay locked into the loop that creates results. Wake, work, repeat, refine, grow, stay silent. This isn't about being antisocial. It's about being intentional. You speak when it's time. You move when it matters. You lead when you've earned it. Until then, you train, you sharpen, you evolve. Because the higher you climb, the quieter it gets. The more serious you become, the less you need to prove. The more you see clearly, the more you cut off everything that doesn't feed your mission. So focus, and don't apologize for it. Lock in, and don't explain it. Build a life so disciplined, so real, so aligned, that when you finally speak, the world has no choice but to listen. You've been held hostage by every meaningless conversation, every shallow comment, every device that hijacks your mind. Distraction isn't harmless. It's an enemy dressed in comfort. It pulls you 1 degree off course until you're 1,000 miles from who you were supposed to become. And it starts small. You check one message, respond to one opinion, scroll for 5 minutes, then 2 hours vanish, and your edge with it. But here's what no one tells you. Every distraction is a decision, a moment where you told your future, you're not important enough right now. That ends here. Today, you bury distraction. You murder it ruthlessly, without apology, because your calling is louder than your cravings. Your mission is worth more than your momentary pleasure, and your future demands your full attention, not what's left over after the world gets its cut. Most people run from silence. It's too honest, too raw, too revealing. They fill the air with words to drown their own uncertainty. They talk to escape their own emptiness. They make noise because they fear hearing their own thoughts. But silence? Silence is sacred. It is the furnace where truth is forged, where you meet yourself, unfiltered, where ego burns and clarity rises. You say you want answers? Then stop talking, stop posting, stop explaining, and go sit in the silence, alone, without distractions, without validation. Let the silence break you, so the truth can rebuild you. You'll discover who you are, not who you pretend to be, not who they think you are, but who you were before the world got in the way. That version of you, the one buried under noise, that's the one the world's been waiting on. You want power? You want peace? You want a life built on your terms? Then understand this. The price is everything. Your comfort, your distractions, your casual relationships, your addiction to being liked. Greatness is not found in the middle, not in moderation, not in balance. It's found in extremes, extreme focus, extreme discipline, extreme clarity. You don't get both. You don't get comfort and growth. You don't get validation and transformation. You don't get the spotlight and the solitude that shapes legends. So choose. You either chase noise or you build power. You either explain yourself or you execute in silence. You either live for the crowd or you live for the mission. But not both. Never both. And those who win, they already chose. You want to change your life? Disappear. Not forever, but long enough to rewire your identity. To detach from the world that made you weak. To step outside the noise and recreate the man or woman you said you'd become. Be the ghost. No updates, no announcements, no explanations. Let them wonder where you went. Let them assume you quit. Let them think you fell off. Because by the time they see you again, you won't be the same. You'll move different, operate different, think different. Because the ghost didn't vanish. The ghost evolved. This is where you reinvent yourself. Alone, disciplined, unseen. And when you return, you won't have to say a word. The world teaches domination outward, status, performance, appearance. But the real war is inward. Silence reveals the battlefield, your thoughts, your beliefs, your standards. This is where you rise, not by controlling the world, but by commanding yourself. Control your emotions, control your impulses, control your energy. This is where the elite are born, not in the noise, but in the fire of stillness, where every weak thought is exposed, every lazy habit burned, every excuse destroyed. You do not reach your next level by chasing more. You reach it by subtracting everything weak, everything soft, everything that keeps you average. And what's left? Unbreakable discipline, unshakable focus, undeniable identity. You've been waiting for a signal, for approval, for signs. But here's the truth. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to push you. No one is going to crown you. You crown yourself. You decide, right now, who you are, who you will be, what you're done tolerating, you're done chasing, done explaining, done performing. From this moment forward, you move in silence. Not because you're afraid, but because you're focused. Not because you're weak, but because you're dangerous. Not because you're uncertain, but because your future is too sacred to be shared with the unqualified. This is your code now. Speak less. Work more. Stay hidden. Strike hard. Let them sleep. Let them doubt. Let them scroll. You execute. You evolve. You emerge. Unannounced, unmatched, unstoppable. And when they finally see you, it will be too late.